もうキャラ選択の
So basically, the whole purpose of this title, the whole idea behind it is to have kind of a festival type atmosphere. Not necessarily a party game per se, but the idea of just kind of making it, kind of over the top and crazy and a festival like sort of atmosphere. So when it came down to character selections, we decided to focus a little less on balance, which can always come later, and a little more on interesting characters the fans seem to want, characters the fans are asking for. So the characters we announced this time, for instance, characters like Yoshimitsu, this is something that people have asked for a long time. Certainly Poison, as well, for years and years and years, people have begged us to put Poison in a fighting game. We're happy to finally be able to do that. As far as Namco's involvement with this, believe it or not, they have very little involvement. We basically have a blank slate to do whatever we want with their characters. They have the same rights on their side when they eventually do Tekken Cross Street Fighter, which would be the companion game. So they have no real input in it. They don't complain to us or anything. We do give them the information, and I think they might find it interesting and useful for their own research purposes, but they don't actually approve the characters we choose or anything like that. It's purely done on the Capcom site. So there's a lot of debate at the beginning of the development of this title if we were going to go with a tag system or not a tag system. But basically, when we decided that we were going to go with a Tekken collaboration, the first thing that came to our minds was Tekken Tag Tournament, because Tekken 6 is a great game. There's a lot of great Tekken games, but Tekken Tag is still our favorite on our side. So we knew we wanted to do a tag-based game because it was so fun in the old Tekken Tag Tournament. Of course, talking to Namco, we soon discovered that they actually had Tekken Tag Tournament 2 in development as well. That is actually a coincidence. They didn't ask us to do that. We didn't ask them to do the other way around. And in fact, I think they may have been a little taken aback that we were going a similar route that they were planning on going. But once we explained that it was all about respect for Tekken Tag Tournament and how much we enjoyed it and wanted to pay homage to it, then I think they were totally on board, and everything went smoothly after that. So that's how the tag system came about. Other gameplay systems, when it comes to, for example, the idea of merging the kind of control schemes between Tekken and Street Fighter, when it comes to the ease of combo implementation, that sort of thing. This is most definitely an effort to get as many players to the table as possible, to lower their barrier of entry and get them interested in the game. I get a lot of requests, of course, for things like Super Smash Brothers collaboration, tying up something with Shonen Jump, like you referenced earlier, that sort of thing. We do get requests for that all the time, and certainly a lot of things are on the table for consideration. But right now, I've got my hands completely full with Street Fighter Cross Tekken. Just want to make sure that we can get those communities together and make this game work. But I'm a dreamer like anybody else, and I think if I were to tell you my ultimate dream collaboration fighting game, if I were ever able to make it happen, I would take Namco out of the picture, I'd take Capcom out of the picture, and I would actually do a Marvel versus DC. I mean, how awesome would it be to see Batman squaring off against the X-Men? That'd be really great if we could pull off a Capcom fighting game with those characters. Realistically speaking, that may never happen, and it certainly might not happen in the next 10 or even 20 years, but it's definitely in the back of my head as something I would love to do one day.